I just picked this beauty up for $200. I definitely got a problem because I love buying stuff like this. I just hate selling it. Anyways, kind of got an itch to buy something. Found this pretty cheap, really cheap, 200 bucks. This right here is a 2001 Polaris Explorer 250 4x4. They actually didn't make these Explorer 250s for too many years. They made them from 2000 to 2002. This one right here is an 01, so it was a 3-year run. They made plenty of models that were almost like this, just a little different. I actually got one out back that looks very similar to this thing, and that would be this one right here, which I think is like a 93, 94. Very similar. They both ran the same engines. The big difference on these is the transmissions. These didn't even really have a designated name. They were just 250 4x4s. They had Trail Bosses earlier on, and I think the 2x4s were called Trail Bosses, but these were just 250 4x4s. But the big difference, like I was saying, is the transmission. As you can see, maybe you can't, but this is actually chain driven for the front. It's chain driven, supposed to be chain driven in the center here and in the back. So essentially you have 3 chains driving this thing, which can be an adjusting nightmare. If anybody's messed with a 4x4 that has 3 chains on them, once you adjust one, you gotta adjust all of them. Actually, those are some older Polaris Trail Boss 250s as well. Those run the same engine, but these were two-wheel drive versions. I think both of those machines are 1985s. And if we come back to this Explorer, you can see it is chain driven in the rear. However, that ends right here. You're actually shaft driven up front. So you really only have one chain to deal with, which is a much better design in my opinion. But I didn't think it was in too bad a shape. Obviously it's kind of rough, but for 200 bucks, I didn't think it was in too bad a shape. It's missing the rack, obviously. It's been cut off. This bumper is just kind of floating in the wind here. But the tires, these look like original tires. It's what they would have ran on them, the Titan AT 489s, and they got decent tread left, so I don't think this has many miles on it. Obviously, it needs a new seat cover. Could use a new cushion too. It's got some moss growing in there. I haven't heard this thing run yet, but it is supposed to run. It was supposed to be running a couple years ago. It's been sitting due to something wrong with the back brakes. If we come down here, you can see our rotor. Our rear rotor is not attached. Actually, you know what? That's not even the rear rotor. Our brake rotor is over here. But this is just a guard for that chain. So, I don't know if this was the problem. It looks like it just bolts to the sprocket here. Right? And I think there's supposed to be spacers in there from here to there, so maybe that stuff fell out. I don't know. As far as the brakes go, it might be sticking a little bit, but they're all there. But yeah, like I said, for 200 bucks, I couldn't complain. All these Polaris 250s are belt driven. They have a CVT clutch, or PVT they call it, Polaris Variable Transmission. These are an air-cooled 2-stroke engine. It's a 250cc, like 246 I think to be exact. So very simple design, oil injected. Probably better check, make sure she's got injection oil in it. Yeah, it's got some. But I'm guessing at a minimum we're gonna have to go through the carburetor, but let's try to fire it up, see how this thing runs. So this does have a recoil starter over here, and I've tried to turn it over. So first thing I did, and I made sure it wasn't seized up. Feels like it's got good compression, so I think she should start as long as it's got spark, and then obviously the fuel situation. But I do want to, I got a new battery right here. I want to hook up, see if the electric start works. This looks like the original battery. If not, it's very, very old. It looks pretty rough. Yeah. All right. Go ahead and throw this new one in there. Fits like a glove. Tighten that ground down. You know, really just looking at this thing, it's pretty clean. Like the frame, all the paint, it's still all painted. Everything looks good. This we don't have to worry about. This was a solenoid to a winch that I don't think is on there anymore. This is your starter solenoid up here. All right. Let's see what we got. Nothing. Okay, so unfortunately it looks like we have no ignition. We should have a neutral light. Should be in neutral right there. We do have toggles rigged up on here. Let's pull this off, see what we find. I believe our fuses should be under here, and relays. This is just for our headlight. Let's check under the seat. Well, I'm going to check to see if the starter works by jumping the solenoid here. I mean, it does, but it doesn't actually catch in there, so that kind of bites. But anyways, we got to figure out this ignition problem. So it kind of looks just like this stuff is just sitting on there, so air box. Let's just pull it all off. I'm really starting to wonder if this thing actually ran when they put it away like they said. For one, I didn't even check. It was just super cheap, so I didn't even look at this thing a little bit. I just made sure she turned over, and it did. So I figured it would run. But all this stuff was just loose. You know, the air box, the plastic piece on top, the gas tank's just sitting on there. It is hooked up, the fuel line, but why was all that stuff off if it was running? I have my doubts. And we got no ignition right now, so we got to figure out what's going on with that. Because I didn't check, but I doubt she's going to fire if we have no ignition. But we do have a fuse link in here, possibly. What's going on with it? We'll check it out. I know these resettable Polaris fuse links do corrode quite often. I see it a lot on the older Polaris Sportsman 500s. So maybe that's what's going on. There she'd be. Now we got to cut it open because they are sealed units, but they seem to get water in there quite often. Just go ahead and cut that open. It's actually super, super clean in there. I was not expecting that. Now I got to actually seal that back up so it doesn't corrode like I was talking about. Anyways, we can check for power here. Alright, I got the ground side grounded out. We got power over here. Power on the other side. Okay, follow that up. Before I start getting too far down the wiring rabbit hole, let's go ahead and I'll keep the ignition on. I'll pull it over and we'll see if she's got a spark. Hard to get to that plug wire there. Might have to pull that tank off. Alright, get you out of there. Yeah, we might as well, while we're at it, we'll check compression too. I would have brought this in the shop, but it's kind of full right now, and honestly, I thought this thing would have been running by now. I just figured we'd have some issues with carburetor and, you know, stuff like that. And then whatever's wrong with the back brakes that they were saying. But that's not the case. Never the case. Alright, let's go ahead and pull this off. Please, please, please have compression. Ooh, that plug is a little on the rusty side. these are cheap to rebuild and stuff. This one actually has a fan on it. A lot of the 250s don't have fans. Maybe because she's the 4x4. I don't think the two-wheel drive versions have any type of cooling on them. Yeah, she looks like she's definitely been flooded out there. Not even going to try that. I got a brand new plug here I'll throw in to check for spark. Click that on there, and then we'll hope. I see fire. That's good. That's great news. That neutral light just came on. It's like going off and on. Wonder if we got a grounding problem. But it is on now, so let's try to, yeah, nothing there. This is the electric start button if you're wondering. You push the kill switch up. Oh, there it goes. Huh. There's definitely an issue because now it's out. So if I pull this over by hand without that neutral light, do we have spark or is it going out? I think I see what it is. It looks like the kill switch probably has a bad spot in it. If I play with it there, right? Oh, just had it. Come on. Well, there we go. Not gonna touch that again. We'll just try to start her by hand. Anyways, let's check compression now. No idea. I'm hoping to see 120 plus, but we'll find out. Alright, we'll leave that right there. Open that throttle up. Just like that. Give her a couple good cranks. That's a good sign. One pull over 90. Two, we're at 120. Seems to be bleeding down my gauge, but it did hit 120 there. Oh yeah. What do we got? 130, 135. That's perfect. That engine appears to be in great shape. I'm surprised it didn't, oh, it probably wasn't sparking. I did try to start this thing when I was at the guy's house, and I don't think I tried it since I've been here, but I haven't had a battery in it. And then when I put a battery in it, I didn't think we would be sparking without that neutral light. We probably weren't, but it was just a kill switch. All right, well, let's take this off, squirt some starting fluid down that thing, and hear if she pops. Put the new plug in. Tighten her down. Plug wire back on. Don't need that in there. Nothing but the good stuff. Little DG auto starting fluid for her. See how she does. With that much compression and that much spark, it should fire right up. But only time will tell. Yeah, I don't have a gas tank hooked or anything. I just want to hear her start. Nothing. Oh, there we go. Yes, sir. All right, carburetor time. On second thought, I just looked at the time. I'm running out of time. We'll throw the gas tank back on and pray for the best. Even if it runs halfway, somewhat, just to drive it to make sure everything's good or find out what's wrong with this thing, that's what we got to do. Make sure we're getting fuel out of the petcock here. Oh yeah, beautiful. Hook that fuel line up. We'll turn her on. I'm guessing it's probably going to start overflowing in that carburetor because she's probably, you never know, we'll find out. Get that air box back in there. Probably should have shot it with a thing of starting fluid first, but anyways, we'll try her out here without it. Choke on. Always want to check your throttle. As you can see, it's sticking pretty decent. I don't feel like cranking over all day, so we'll get her going on starting fluid, and then hopefully it'll take over. Oop, not enough. No, she wasn't starting after I dumped a little more ether in there. Look at what I found in that plug. It's pretty nasty. It's kind of like watery oil. Huh. Still got good spark. I'll put her in again and see what she does. Kind of wondering if the oil that was in there was kind of inflating the compression numbers. Hopefully not. Alright, we'll try some more. Trying to go, I think. Whew, lots of smoke. She's only running off the starting fluid I put in there though. So we'll probably have to definitely get in that carburetor. Yep. Oh, and here comes the rain. Anyways, pulling the carburetor. Beautiful out. I'd really like to be in the shop right now. And that's our oil injection line there. Well, we'll get this off and see how she looks. Alright, I know I said I didn't have time, but we're making time for this thing. Let's see how she looks inside. Didn't seem to get any fuel coming through other than the starting fluid I was putting in it, so I'm expecting it to be pretty rough. I don't have a kit right now, so I don't want to rip that gasket. Come on, girl. Actually, I might have a kit one. Oh boy, I just caught a sneak peek. It's rough. It's rough. There we go. I don't think we ripped it. Wow. No wonder that thing didn't run. Well, I got some heavy cleaning to do, and she should fire right up after that. Check that out. I mean, it's just plugged solid. The bowl is not much better. Nasty stuff. Well, we got some carb cleaning to do. I wonder if these, oh yeah, like, there we go. The float was stuck though, pretty bad. Same thing with that one. Can't even pick it up. Wow. Well, we got some spraying to do. Good stuff. Even the needle valve, there was no gas getting in this thing. I have the pin out of that, and I cannot move that needle valve. It's stuck in there so bad. Try to sneak that out of there, and yeah, just gonna have to soak it. A lot of scrubbing, but these little brash brushes do work pretty good. You can see it gets it pretty clean, as opposed to like that side. Yep, so we just got some scrubbing to do. She is far from perfect, but the jets are all cleaned out. Like I said, I didn't even get that super clean, but all the big gunk's out. Should be enough to run. This thing is a perfect candidate. I didn't even bother cleaning the outside because this is a perfect candidate for my ultrasonic cleaner. I'll run that through it afterwards, but I want to see if she's going to run. I know it's going to run. I already heard it run, but I want to see what other issues we might find. Hopefully nothing serious, but I don't know. It should run way better than it did. But yeah, so I'll order a rebuild kit for this, and then I'll get a, but yeah, you can see the floats are actually moving freely now. Order a rebuild kit, get this thing in the ultrasonic cleaner afterwards, and get her all spiffied up. Perfect time to come back outside. It appears to stop raining. All right, let's get her on. All right, on the machine we go. And get our fuel line on. Get that on. Probably throw her on reserve. That's a little less sticky now. Now we got no, yeah, it's all in that kill switch right there. Have to take it apart, clean the contacts. I don't feel like cranking over all day, so a little shot of starting fluid. There she goes. That's what we wanted to see. Let's get that air box on. Thing's even idling. How? I don't know. Huh. Well, you know we gotta go try her out now. I don't know what that hub's for. It looks like it would go to this, but this appears to have all the hubs. This is my stuff. Can't believe that. That thing sounds great. Let's see. Very grindy, typical older Polaris. Oh, that didn't sound good. Wants to choke? Sure does. Something is noisy in that clutch or transmission or something. Uh-oh. Oh man, that doesn't sound good. We won't use reverse. What's going on here? Is the sprocket stripped out? Doesn't look like it. Might be a linkage issue. Yep. She likes high range. Oh. Let's see. Come on, girl. Does all-wheel drive work? Doesn't appear to. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Ugh. Well. Starter's working, but the little Bendix gear in there is not. Something in reverse does not sound good. And my all-wheel drive is not kicking on, unfortunately. Yeah, that didn't sound good at all. Huh. That's probably what's making that other noise. I forgot about that thing. It's definitely not what's causing it to bind up in reverse, though. Come on, girl. Well, all right. Engine does sound good, though. At least. I don't know about that transmission. High range seems fine. I'm bogging out though. She opened up. open it up way better. She actually had full power there, and obviously, those things are a trip hazard. Oil injection's obviously working because that's straight gas in there, and we're definitely getting some smoke. But no, seems like low range and reverse. Reverse will kick in, but it kicks out of gear. Neutral just doesn't seem to kick in. Oh no, this doesn't have brake problems, this has transmission problems. That hole is certainly not supposed to be there. That sucks. Oh man, I was not expecting that. I really thought, why do they have this off? I don't know. Yeah, I think that's actually oil running out from that orange crap. Oh man, oh man. I mean, I still can't complain. It was $200. I gotta think that. $200. I know I wasn't expecting a bad transmission. I don't know how much those transmissions run, but this thing might end up being just an engine for something else that I have. That engine does run good, so that right there, like I said, it's worth the $200. Got cleaned the carburetor a little better, but she seemed to be straightening it out pretty good. But man, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna have to think. Obviously, it needs a new transmission. That case is broke. There's probably gears broke in there and everything else. So I guess I'll price one out and see if it's worth fixing this thing, or maybe this $250 will go in that other one I was talking about. I don't know. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next repair.